Man, today's video is... I'm not even going to say it, man. I'm not even going to say it. We're going to show you two things today. First, the F-1000 Godzilla. We had a problem with this car, but it worked. And the other thing, man, is that we're going to show you the details of Project 01, which engine we're going to use. And a gift arrived for it. So let's go, man, because today's video is anything but bland. No. Come on, just look where we are right now. Look over there, look. Who did we come to see here? Man, you guys remember this car, right? We put it together about 8 months ago, right? Back then, it looked exactly like this. There were still a few details missing on the underside, the exhaust. We kept working on the car, right? And now we've taken the step that it was supposed to be smooth, right? It was supposed to be easy. It was supposed to be easy, but it wasn't, man. That's why this car disappeared for a while, but now it's sorted out, okay? So what happened here, guys? This here is a Godzilla 7.3, okay? Brand new engine, look. Brand new. Transmission 2, brand new, right? And this engine didn't have... No one had developed its operation for any type of injection except for the kit that's already available in the United States, okay? So what did we do here, okay? It's a mess here because the car was, in theory, finished today. It took all this time because we had to develop the entire electronic operation of this engine here. What does the electronic operation mean here, man? Electronic TBI here, okay? Throttle body. No other car uses this type of throttle body. Not even the big Coyote here, look. Let's grab this guy here, look. This throttle body here on the Coyote is different from that one over there. This one already exists. There are programmable injection systems working with this one. This one didn't have it, but now it does. That one, the new Fuel Tech update, already works with this here, okay? So, the latest FT update is because of this guy here. So besides this, there were a few more engine operation sensors and the coils, look. The way this coil works here is different from the other coils, like the ones over there, like the ones in other cars. Most fuel-injected cars use this type of coil here, okay? So here we also developed the operation of these coils, which is not the same as the others, okay? Is there a Godzilla running with FT with Fuel Tech? Yes, but without these coils and without this throttle body here. So it's using regular coils there.
This coil here has internal ingress, right? The difference with that McLaren coil is that it doesn't have internal ingress. That one only uses 2 pins. This one we use 3
Pins.
and that was the issue. Until then, nobody with the Pinol had this coil. With this
Coil here, right? That's why it took us a while to sort things out. And one thing is that with that coil, it would be a more common coil. It uses Spark Pro, right?
Spark Pro, which
Then it's the one that generates it. The coil itself generates it.
is what forms.
Spark. So there was all of this here. There was the TBI, the whole electronic engine management system. This engine has a lot of sensors. The sensor it comes with is also a rotation sensor, which is different from the others, isn't it?
Almost 2. It was also quite difficult to figure out its pinout since there is absolutely no information available about it, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
In short, none of the electronic components of this engine were working. Nothing was working. So all of this here works, but each part works separately. This one works one way, the coil works another way. Anyway, so it took us all this time to get this working the way it should. So the engine here is pretty much original, okay? Well, it's not a completely original engine, right? We just made a few changes here in the fuel intake part, just compared to what it originally had. The engine is practically original with all the sensors working in place, okay? So here, it's running exactly the way it comes out of the factory. So, man, it's a huge engine, right? We already have 2 or 3 projects in the shop with this engine, right? Later, when we go back there, I'll show you Project 01, which will also use this engine here and has a few extra details on that thing. So, man, shall we start it up?
Let's start it up.
Shall we start it up? Here we're using a 2.5-inch exhaust, okay? The Hanover muffler from Barrymore. Damn. Turn it off over there. Let's see, right? There are
A lot of adjustments really, right? Everything is still disassembled.
Look here. Everything is really just hanging here, guys, all of it. Everything's hanging. Normally, we don't really see a process like this live, right? But here, actually, everything's just hanging there. You see everything kind of... Look, everything's being tested, testing fuses, testing everything, man. Do you want to say something here, Aguris? But do you know what to say? No.
Man, it's really tricky, honestly. I just came in and I'm gonna say it. We didn't need to adapt the cable throttle body here. Everything is original. The latest 5.41 version of FuelTech was because of this throttle body here. There was an update to the throttle body registry because of this one here. It stayed there for about 15 days so the guys could figure out how it worked. It's an original Ford Cent protocol. It's different from any other type of throttle body out there.
Everyone thinks it's easy, right, guys? You just plug it in, run FuelTech, and everything works, right? Just connect the wire and all that. That's not really how things work. So there you go, man. Now the guys here are going to take everything apart again. Look, here's what happened the first time. This here, like, everything was fine, okay? But we hadn't done what needed to be adjusted, right?
Actually, since it's a new throttle body and a new protocol, there were some settings we still weren't sure how they worked. I even had to call FuelTech support to understand how it worked. When recording through FuelTech, it worked, but then when I went back to recording through the computer, it lost calibration. It would idle, but it would lose calibration. Then when you floored it, the throttle would just stay open. It would get stuck at full throttle.
And that's what I did, right? I got here and all that. They hadn't revved it yet, so I said, man, I'm going to give it a little rev, right? So I went over there and just barely touched it. Nothing. There was no one here, right? I said, I'm going to rev it here. Man, I just touched the accelerator, like I just gave it that one more time, right? When I hit the gas the second time, this thing opened up all the way and stayed at 7,000 RPM.
Usually, when you try to drive a car without a proper tune, it stalls, backfires, it doesn't rev up. Here, it revved up and just kept going full throttle.
Yeah, it revved up and got stuck wide open. That's it, Godzilla. Now Godzilla here is going to take apart this whole electrical section. Basically, he's going to take everything apart and redo it all, right?
It's because of the coils, right? Everything was different. The wiring and the harness.
All of this is here just because we're stubborn. We really want to get this thing running, right? Now take everything apart and redo this whole part of the coil harness here. Look.
Does it respond easily and is the RPM the same? Yes.
Take everything apart and there are still a few details missing here. Still the cooling system. Anyway, there's still a lot for us to get our hands on here, but one of the main things, which was supposed to be the easy part, right? It's sorted out. Let's hope there isn't anything else this big. And the cool thing is that we have 2 more Godzillas over there and the worst part is already done. The thing really works. This car here, just to remind you, uses a big TFT dashboard. So all of that will still need to be calibrated too, right? Dashboard part anyway. The FT will also be placed under the glove compartment there. We want to do something out of the ordinary here, man. It's not easy and we have to dedicate a lot of time to... You have to really commit to making things happen, right? But it is, man, a thing that all the time we put into developing and making the thing really work, there comes a time when it starts to be worth it and rewards. So there it is. Vardomira is booming. Want to show this too, man? No. Chevrolet.
You can hear.
You can't pay too much attention to this because here it's kind of Chevroletero. If you put a cart here with the Chevrolet emblem, it's top. Of course.
It's top.
What is this like, man?
This here is the pure wild juice of the 90s.
Look at this, man. Is it really this cramped, man? Yeah.
It's really this cramped. That's how it's supposed to be.
So, about Project 01, man. This is a project that we're going to... I think it's still too soon for me to say what I wanted, but there are some projects we're going to number, like we've already mentioned. Project 02 is the Silverado. You've already seen it here on the channel. And Project 01, man, is a project we've been developing for some time now, okay? Deciding on the mechanics, deciding what we were going to do, because these numbered projects from the shop are projects with a high level of finish, high quality parts, a high standard in everything you can imagine that we have access to. The parts, the finish, the quality, the materials. So anyway, we've been working on Project 01, building this off-road car for a long time now. The big project doesn't start in the shop, it starts outside the shop. The 3D project, buying parts, researching parts, and today we pretty much have its mechanical part already defined. And that's what we're going to show you now, okay? We won't show Project 01, the car itself, until we actually start building it. We won't say what car it is or what color it's going to be. Basically nothing about the finish or anything, but I can already share the mechanical part with you. And here it is, look. So this is the last Godzilla we had available, okay? This engine was up for sale for about 6 months, right? And we decided to use it then in Project 01. Because it's an engine with very few units in Brazil, really just a handful. And as you saw in the F1000 video with Mrs. Valdomira, we struggled, man, to get this thing to work. It wasn't exactly easy to make it work the way it should, right? But it's working. And we have all 3 Godzillas in Brazil, running just like you saw with the green F1000 in our hands then. This one, the supercharger, which is the black one, and the naturally aspirated one from Valdomira. So what's going on here, man? Project 01 really has to be an out-of-the-box project. It has to be something extraordinary with the best finish we can possibly achieve. So there's no reason for us not to use this engine, but we're going to change a lot of things here. Valve cover, intake, exhaust manifold. We're going to clean up this front end here because this engine is going to get this right here. Look, what is this here? A complete turbo, 0.5 to 2, 0.5 to 2, okay? So what's different here, guys? So we're going to use a Godzilla Biturbo in Project 01, managed by an FT700, at least for now. What is this here? That could change, okay? But for now, we're going to use an FT700 Plus, which already has the dashboard and everything here. What's cool about these turbos here? Let me show you. I'm going to open this one first, look. This one's kind of heavy, huh? Here's his manual, which we can take a look at. There should be reband, an accessory for it in there. So here we have the first turbo. Check out the difference, okay? This turbo here is a conventional turbo. So most of the turbo cars we see out there use this type of turbo, okay? And this one is the famous reverse turbo. Some people call it by different names, right? Twin Siamese left, blah, blah, blah. Here on the box, it's just called reverse turbo. So what is a reverse turbo? It's nothing more, nothing less than a turbo that's the opposite of a conventional turbo. So when we see a V8 set up with turbos, it usually uses 2 turbos like this one, right? So people use one like this and the other like that, and then run the pipe here and make it fit over there. And here we have both turbos. So they're both facing toward the center of the car, right? Like we've already mentioned, this car has to be a completely different kind of car. Let's go ahead and open it up here, right? It has to be a totally different car. So this turbo here costs pretty much double what a normal turbo does, right? That's why most people don't use it. But our idea here, man, is really to do it, even if it's just rebranding with excess oil and all that. But honestly, guys, our idea here is to make a car that's totally out of the ordinary. We've already shown that we can do this in some projects, even without having that kind of access, even without having the money to do it, right? Money doesn't solve everything, right? We really have to make it happen with our own hands, put in the time, put in the hard work to make it happen, right? So in these numbered projects, it's 100% a shop project, right? We're going to give our absolute best to make this happen in a way that's not easy for everyone. Especially when you're talking about the finish, about the car's looks and so on. This car, I'll tell you guys, man, it's a car that I have it's a car that's completely my own creation. Of course, we discussed some of the details, right? With a lot of people. But there are some points where I'm kind of stubborn, and with this car, I'm being even more particular than I've ever been when it comes to the finish, you know? So for sure, it's going to be a totally different car. It's going to blow people's minds, okay? It's going to blow minds. It might be a car that people are prejudiced against, let's say. We'll reveal what car it is later on. We're going to do the entire internal build of this project right here in the shop. From the chassis, front suspension to the rear suspension. This intake manifold part here, we're going to replace it. just so you have an idea about this whole area. Look, normally we take a steel manifold from a regular car and just swap it to the other side, right? You just flip it, but these ones here we won't be able to use. Because the turbo would end up on the side here, or we'd have to make another access point, right? So we're not going to use this guy here. Look, we're going to have to make a specific exhaust manifold for it. So the exhaust will come out there and connect to both turbos here. The alternator will come out, everything comes out. And both turbos will be here, one on each side, right? We'll probably also use this car with an intercooler, right? So most likely the turbos will be pointing down, passing through the intercooler. And then it comes back in here. So we're going to do all this construction work. Stay tuned. All this work building the two manifolds, right? We're also going to import the intake now. We're also going to replace the valve covers here. This transmission already has a little kit that makes it a bit faster. So we're going to use everything we have available. That also matches the project to make this mechanical assembly work properly. To run at 100%. And what's cool about the two turbos is that we can do a ton of things. Set the car up for drag racing, boost it, whatever we can do. This engine here, okay? There are people abroad who use it with around 1,400 horsepower, okay? Our idea here is to reach about 1,000 horsepower with this car. It's a car that's going to get a lot of use, man. You guys are going to be blown away by this thing. These turbos can each generate around 900 horsepower, okay? Just so you have an idea. Look at their size. They look small, right? So it's a 72 millimeter cold side housing, right? It's big, man. It's big, okay? Even in the development of this engine here, the idea isn't for the engine to rev super high, right? It's an engine that spins at about 7,500 to 8,000 RPM, and we won't push it beyond that, right? So it's not an engine that's going to rev super high. That's why we chose these two turbos. So the engine already comes in strong at low RPM with good boost and deliver that all the way to the end, right? So these turbos do exactly that. They're both ball bearing, okay? Look, how crazy. Look, both turbos are ball bearing. That also really helps with pre-spooling them. The way it works is totally different, right? This setup was chosen specifically for that. We have power from low RPM and do something different. Normally we see this engine with a Paxton, which is a brand of turbo, right? But it's that turbo that goes underneath, runs by a belt here, a supercharger and all that. Or that blower that nowadays everyone calls a supercharger, calls it a blower, calls it whatever. That's the one that goes on top with the pulley down here, right? That's the one we're going to use on the supercharger, right? It's always black. So with this car, we wanted to do something different, and it's going to be totally different from anything we've ever built here in the shop and from any project we've seen on a national level in Brazil, okay guys? We're going to take this finished car to the custom show next year. So from now on, you'll see at least one video a month with a strong focus on this project, all right? And possibly, I think in about 30 or 40 days, we'll already show you the car taking shape, and then we'll reveal which car it is and a few more details, all right? But as for the color, finish, and wheels, we're not going to show you that. We'll only reveal it at the Custom Show 2026. So man, there's not much more for us to say here, right? You've already seen that this car is going to have more of a performance vibe than a focus on cost. Thank you so much for sticking with us, guys. All the way to the end of the video, because honestly, this is something that for us is out of the ordinary. We're already experiencing something way beyond what we imagined at the start, and now things have really taken another turn, okay? So man, leave a comment below and let us know what you thought about all this. If you have any questions about the project, whether it's about the O1 here or the F1000 Godzilla over there, leave them in the comments. That car will also be back soon so we can finish it up, okay? So leave your comments and don't forget to hit the like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, man, go ahead and subscribe, give us that support. You guys are going to be blown away by the Quaire. You're going to be blown away. Thanks.